Hi, I'm John and welcome back to my Lair of Action Figures. Today is going to be another review of another G.I. Joe Classified series, and this is going to be Dr. Mindbender in the retro card. But today we're going to be getting also a bonus video review because I will be adding to it the Dr. Mindbender, who was a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. So this is going to be number 43 in the Classified G.I. Joe series, and the reason why I wanted to do these figures, it's because I wanted to do a bit of a comparison between the two versions, and also I wanted to talk about the best and some of the worst San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. So I've already published the video of the worst one, who's going to have the less value and is going to be going in clearance. And this is why I wanted to do this. So I'm going to be talking about the history of this figure. I'm going to be talking about the collectible value of these figures, what are my thoughts about it, and I'll be giving a note out of 10. So without further ado, let's talk about history. So let's talk history. So of course, this is my mint in box figure from 1986. Of course, as you know, this is one of my favorite lines since the original one. And I would say they're maybe one of the lines who had some of the best figures then, before Hasbro started to go a bit down the drain with a lot of unrealistic figures. Now, of course, there's no way that you're going to have this kind of mad scientist running around who reminds me a bit Dr. X in the Action Man line that you had in the 12-inch series. I do have some in the garage somewhere, but or more in the warehouse maybe. So I didn't have time to look for it and find any of those. So yeah, he does have this kind of weird look, or maybe a bit like Sean Connery in one of his movies. But this figure was a bit weird, and I do admit that he does have some funky looks to it. And let's say not all the 1986 figures are kind of okayish, but this one does have a bit of an issue on the way he looks, and even then I still did like him due to the fact that he is behind the creation of Serpentor, and the figure itself is an interesting character. I also believe that Hasbro brought it in because in the comic books we had a doctor called Dr. Venom, and of course there's Quine, who's the Eskimo mercenary that works for him from time to time. So here is one of the comic books where he does appear. As you can see, you have Quine, Snake Eyes, and of course Dr. Venom. These two characters did kind of get made in the 25th anniversary line, but never really made it into the original line of figures. So hopefully we'll be seeing them in the classified. I don't see why we shouldn't. But he was a bit the replacement, and he is behind all the creation of these creatures. And of course, if you watch the movie Cobra, you will understand that he was kind of added a little chip from those creatures so that he would become more intelligent and figure out how to create Serpentor. Well, that part didn't exist for me because I am not a fan of the movie. So anyway, I digress. Let's get back into the figure itself. So here we have the figure, and as you can see, pretty decent figure. I'm going to let you put a pause if you want to have a look at the file card. So I believe he was a dentist, if I'm not mistaken. Remember something about it. So yeah, this figure here is really interesting as a doctor kind of way of doing it, and he was also behind the Brainwave scanner, but the Brainwave scanner was Dr. Venom. So yeah, I think that Hasbro wanted to do, bring some kind of mad scientist, and Dr. Mindbender fit the bill perfectly. Now, continuing in the history of these guys, we have to jump into the 25th anniversary line, and in the 25th anniversary line, well, we got him in only one place, in this fantastic Cobra Island set, the defensive Cobra Island. So of course we have him over here. I'm always keeping this box in the room due to the fact that there's so many of these figures that never were released as a regular base. So of course, like, there's a lot of these who are in the classified series, so it only makes sense that I do keep it around, so when I get into reviewing those figures, I have the box over here. So now that we had a look at the history of this figure, let's have a look at what we get in the Dr. Mindbender box over here, who is number 43 in the G.I. Joe Classified series. So, of course, before quickly jumping into the box over here, so like I said, this is number 43. As you can see, they always do some pretty nice packaging, and you have a lot of information around here with the different people who are the creation to go for our Serpentor. So yeah, there's plenty of stuff. Let's have a look at the box itself. So this is the one, of course, I opened. I always think that there's a lot of cool joints on these boxes, and I mean, Hasbro really did a pretty good job of doing some pretty impressive joints. So of course we have the Mummy, we have Gengis Khan, Napoleon. I mean, if you saw the cartoon or read the comic books, you will see. So all his little tricks of going and looking for the different parts of it, and of course the Wave scanner. Here we also see a part from the G.I. Joe movie. And of course we're going to open the box, and of course, as you can see, it's empty. I do like the idea, the way the box is done. I like the presentation of this figure, and I always think it is pretty neat that we get this kind of boxes for Comic-Con. So yeah, of course I did not use the mint in box figure. I kept it sealed because you will have Scotch tape over here who is holding everything in place. So if you really think about it as being mint in box, well, you will not take it out of the box. So yeah, this figure is really pretty awesome. So let's get the box out of the way, and let's show you what we get in the box. Of course, we get Dr. Mindbender. We get these two fiols over here. We do get a head who comes apart, or a skull, should I say, over here. So I guess this must be the, how do you call it, the not the zombie, the mummy. We have a brain on a little piece of metal. We have some kind of weird hand who reminds me the one of the zombie vipers that came out in the 25th anniversary line. Over here we have some little shots that don't really go anywhere. We get the cable, and then we get this little who's a lot smaller than the original one over here, as you can see. I'm going to have a closer look at all of this. I just want to take out everything who's here. And we have the pistol. We have two different kinds of equipment, as you can see. This one is inspired by the 1986, and this one is a brand new one that they gave. So as you can see, you do get a lot of stuff. Now, I did not open this figure over here, but I'm kind of wondering, because I'm going to be talking about something about this figure who is a bit different on this figure over here. So let's have a closer look, and let's talk about the differences between these two Dr. Mindbenders. So let's get by taking a closer look to Dr. Mindbender himself. As you can see, the head sculpt is pretty neat. Does have a little bit to worry about over here. You can see there's some little residue from the cape. This is the problem when you mix tissue like this that has a tendency of marking. Over here I don't really have too much that problem. So yeah, it's something that you will have to watch out. All of them have this little defect over here. Some of them have it on both sides from what I've been reading about it. So of course we have his bracelets over here. They do not move at all, and the armbands do not move at all. So as you can see, the dentist has been working out, kept the same kind of silver. Of course, I nearly forgot, because he was geared up. He has his pistol, who was also something with the original figure also. And let's go on. So we have this purplish over here. Then we have the boots over here, who are pretty tall boots. So yeah, he looks like more somebody who's going around in a SM club than being a G.I. Joe figure. Now, something I do think that is missing on the original figure over here, it's the Cobra logo. So the Cobra logo was on the back of the escape. I don't understand why Hasbro didn't go for it on this figure. It is really a bit of a shame that they didn't do it, and yeah, it is something that I truly regret that they didn't do, because that would have made it a lot easier. Again, This was a figure that came out in 2022, if I'm not mistaken. And this one is, of course, a 2025 figure. So, of course, there's a few years difference. And there's also something of very interesting to know, because this one is made in China and this one is made in, of course, Vietnam. So I haven't opened it because I'm not an army builder of Dr. Mindbender. So that's why I thought I didn't open it. But now I'm kind of curious to open one, but I'm not really sure if I want to at the end of the day. So I will have to see. Now, getting into those capsules over here. These are these little capsules that you put on over here. So as you can see, you can put in like it has. You can put the brain in over here. Clips it in like this. And have a look at it. It's pretty well detailed. There's some pretty good weathering around it. Also, it does fit in over here, so you can also put it into the skull that you have over here, as you can see. And then you should need to come over like this, and you should close the skull like this if you want to put it in the skull. So yeah, showing you the skull. So I guess this must be the mummy because it has some bandages around it. So as you can see, it's a nice little feature for the skull. Of course, I do think that it does, as you can see, does not really hold very well in it, but it's a nice little feature if you want to recreate Shakespeare. So of course, if we come in over here, we're going to be putting the brain into this over here, and we're going to be closing it like this. So as you can see, it's a little nice little ornament to put on the stand. And of course, over here we have this kind of weird hand. As you can see, it has some cords attached to it, and it does have this very grey vibe. Now, color to it, and also I do think they did a not too bad job on this hand. So yeah, pretty neat. Also, it should fit in over here, and as you can see, you should close it over here. And this makes another ornament for Dr. Mindbender's weird lab. Going on to some other parts who are not in the retro one are these little dots over here. I'm going to put a little bit more light because I think it's a bit dark, so bear with me. Okay, so here we go. So here we have these little dots. I guess they go into these machines over here, and I guess you should put them in, and it's like some tranquilizing darts or something like this over there for some injections on the different creatures, maybe to make the frag vipers. Then of course we're going to go on to what comes with the regular figure. Now, something I really think was pretty cool that Hasbro did, they went on to the same kind of vibe of pistol that he had with the original one. So that's pretty cool. Then afterwards, of course, we have this part over here. So of course you have the hose over here that you're going to plug into it here, and it does fit in with the different accessories. As you can see, you can also plug in the secondary one over here. So here are a close-up of these two accessories. Don't ask me what he does with it, can't remember, but you can see these are some kind of instruments that he uses. And of course over here you have the little one to plug in. Now, something that I do not really know what it's all about, on this over here there seems to be a little peg over here, and I haven't seen any place to plug it in, so I don't know why they did it. You could put it the gun here, but it doesn't really hold that well, and I have no clue. I've been looking around on the figure if there was a place for it to be clipped on his belt, but I did. Oh yes, sorry, my bad. It does have a little clips. I didn't see that one. I should saw it now. So this comes onto his belt over here, and yeah, it's a bit weird as an idea, but I guess this is where it would go. But it does not hold that really well in place. So yeah, this is the place where it goes. I'm a bit surprised that they wanted to do it in this way, or maybe put it in this way so that he can't carry it around under his arm in this way. I'm guessing it's that because I don't see what else you would be clipsing over there. And I was like, the first time I saw it, I was like, that's a bit weird that they decided to put this. So that's where it clips in, I guess. So yeah, these are the parts who come with the figure. Then you also have some kind of tranquilizer dart that comes with it, with some serum over here. So all the stuff that you need for a mad scientist to go around and do his experiments. Now, we're going to have, like I said, I did not open this figure, but I'm kind of curious of, but I don't know where my one that I was planning to open, it must be somewhere in storage, because as I'm not interested in army building this guy, so I might not be opening it. But again, if we have a look at that, the only difference that there is regarding this figure, and it seems that the purplish is a little bit different, but not that much. And something that might be very interesting is to see if these weapons are a lot harder than the original ones who are made out of a softer plastic, because most of the figures who come out from Vietnam have a harder plastic around it. And of course he does have the Cobra logo, and something that is missing on most of the figures, it is this little stand that should be given with all the figures. I'm going to turn over the box of Dr. Mindbender Retro if you want to put a pause and read the Defiant card. As you can see, here are the other two figures that are from the first figures that we are getting from Vietnam. So now that we have done that, I'm going to tell you what do I think is the collectible item, and what is my final note on the figures, and also what are my final thoughts. So, do I believe these are collectible items or not? Well, I'm going to say yes and no. The San Diego Comic-Con, I've been seeing a few pop up right now at around $65. If I remember well, they were around $49. I can't remember exactly how much I paid for it. I got it from Hasbro Pulse, so I have a really hard time remembering what was the price of it, and I couldn't find in the archives how much I paid for it, but I think it was about 42 or maybe a bit lower. So this is where I put my stuff so it doesn't fall out and I do not lose it. Whoops. So yeah, the San Diego Comic-Con one, I would put it as a bit of a collectible. The Dr. Mindbender over here, well, this is a 2025 figure. It's $24.99. I haven't seen any clearances, but again, we're coming up to Black Friday, so there might be some clearances getting ready on Amazon, Walmart, Target, if you're lucky to live in the US. If you're not lucky to live in the US, and also I guess Hasbro Pulse is going to be going up with some stuff shortly also, because Black Friday, Cyber Monday, so I'll be kind of curious to see what they're going to be doing, if there's going to be any discount on these figures. But I would say the retro figure will have a certain collectible value, but the one who has the most collectible value would be, of course, the Dr. Mindbender from the San Diego Comic-Con. So here are my final thoughts, my note out of 10, while I'm going to give this little guy a little spin around, so you can admire him under all the different angles. So, do I like the figure? Well, yeah, I do like the figure. I do think they did a pretty good job on it. Again, I made a mistake by picking up the retro line twice because I wanted to open one, but due to the fact that I have the San Diego one, doesn't really make sense to have a second one open, to have the Cobra logo on the back. Of course, I do think it's a bit of a shame that the color comes off on the cape and the way the cape is made. I would be kind of curious to see how it's going to age. But yeah, the San Diego Comic-Con, if you're a fan of Dr. Mindbender or you like this kind of weird doctors, it's a must to have in the line. So I really do like the figure. So for the Cobra for the Dr. Mindbender in the San Diego Comic-Con, I'm going to give this one a 9.5 out of 10. I would have given it a 10 out of 10 if it would have had the Cobra logo on it, or it would have had some more Cobra logos on him, would have made more sense. But I do like the idea. Would have liked to have a lab or some accessories to go around, yeah, I guess we can find them on the net. So yeah, I really do like it. Now, regarding the Dr. Mindbender, the retro one, well, he works. There's a few accessories extra, but the job of doing the retro line figure and the way they did it works for me. Maybe I would have liked to see a bigger box to plug in the tool instead of getting the same one that we got with the regular classified series from San Diego, because that would have made it a bit more logic if you wanted to go retro. And giving all those extra weapons, well, this doesn't really make it retro. And another big problem with the retro line figure is normally we would be getting fists with every retro line figure that was announced by our friend Lenny, and Lenny told us, well, we're getting those fists with every retro line figure. This one doesn't have it. So this is why I'm going to be giving 7 out of 10 for the retro Dr. Mindbender, because he has a retro look, the retro card works, but he does not have the fists that should be there, and he has extra accessories who don't really go with the retro figure itself. So that is a big disappointment on that behalf. If you're doing a retro line, if you want to go and make something retro, then I agree, go for it, make it retro, and give us the real retro and not some kind of mix-max of a figure to come into it. So that's going to be it for my review of the Dr. Mindbenders. If you like this kind of review, please leave a like, share, comment in the section. Also, tell me, do you agree with me? Do you have these Dr. Mindbenders? Which one is your favorite? Or did you do like me and only kept the Dr. Mindbender from Comic-Con? So let me know in the comment section so we can start a conversation around our hobby. Also, if you want to go and check out my Facebook page and Instagram page, I have plenty of cool pictures over there. Be uploading some more stuff, so go and check it out. The links are in the description. Also, please share the video. That does help a lot, and leave a like. This is something really good for the algorithm. Until then, I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.